Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for a match preview for Villa's trip to the Emirates to play Arsenal tomorrow night. Dan Bardell hosting, joined by my good friend Ty Bracey. Ty, are you there? Can everyone hear you?
Hello.
There we
Can you hear
go.
me?
I can hear you, but I could hear Dolan last night, and absolutely nobody listening to the video could. High hopes like me going into this one, Ty?
Do you know what?
Don't.
Prior to some
Just don't.
the usual overly optimistic Mr. Bracey back at it this evening. I'm not expecting anything. So if I don't expect anything, I can't be disappointed. So no expectation equals no disappointment, which means we'll probably nip a 1-0 win.
A clean sheet feels very unlikely, Ty.
What's one of them?
At the current point, we went to Bolton this time last week and couldn't keep a clean sheet, so I've not got high hopes of that. At this point, I'm at the point where the next two, really the way we started the season, I see them as free hits, which is quite sad, really, because I always used to fancy Villa going to Arsenal, but we know Arsenal are top of the league at the moment, having won every game and looking like a really good outfit this time round under Arteta, and we're obviously not looking great. I'll take a performance. I'll take a plucky defeat. When Gerrard first came in and we were playing against the bigger teams, the teams that were doing well, we lost by 1 goal to Liverpool. We lost by 1 goal to Man City. But we put in good performances. I was encouraged by what I'd seen. At this point, it's pretty desperate, but I would actually just take some form of encouragement from the performance, Tom.
Look, I've said this. I said this, but even before the game on the weekend, that I'm happy with us losing games if we at least look like we're trying to win them. You know, today I've been a little bit annoyed by some comments of that we lost the last game due to a lucky deflection. No, ultimately we lost the game because we didn't create enough chances and we didn't score any goals. That's why we lost the game, not because there was deflection. It's because we didn't score any goals. So I'm okay with losing games. You know, I don't think anybody is expecting us to go into the game tomorrow and expecting us to come out with something. However, if we look like we're at least trying and giving everything we can, chasing down every ball when we're out of possession, I'm happy with that. If we go into the game and at least try, if we go into the game thinking that we've lost before we go into it, then we're going to lose. It's as simple as that, isn't it? So
yeah,
I will ultimately get behind the players, but
of course
I am, as like you, Dan, not very hopeful.
But also good news.
Go on then.
Thomas Partey out. His replacement, El Neni, out. Zinchenko, doubtful. So they could be pretty short in midfield. I actually think if Zinchenko's fit, there's a chance you might see him play central midfield for Arsenal for the first time tomorrow night. If not, it will be Lokonga. So a few issues for Arsenal in central midfield. I think Partey scored against us last year at the Emirates, a feeble header that ended up in the back of the net. But, you know, Villa have been struggling in midfield. Let's be perfectly honest. If they were to have a few people missing in that area, that's a bonus for us.
Yeah, definitely. We'll take what we can. We're clutching, aren't we? At this rate, we're not looking too great. It's a. I haven't said this for a while, but it's a tough time being a Villa fan. I feel like it's been a while since I've
Is
said
it ever
that.
not, Todd? Is it ever not a tough time to be a Villa fan?
I feel like we've made baby steps over the last few years, and I genuinely thought, I know we're only a few games in, but I genuinely thought this was the year of the plan that they've spoke about for so long. When Dean and Perslow sat in that tunnel, that this was the year that we were going to get it right, and this is the year where we were going to push. And we've lost games that ultimately we should be getting points from, and that's the frustrating part. They are the games that will get us in the top half of the table. They are the points that will get us in the top half of the table. So the mental side of it isn't great. You know, there isn't much going on in Villa chats. There isn't, much going on anywhere. No one really wants to talk about Villa. Everybody's just super stressed. It's not a great time to be a fan at the minute, is it, Dan?
No, I mean, we talk about anything but Villa, really, in our WhatsApp group. I think we talk more about dating apps than we do about Villa currently in that WhatsApp group, especially this evening. But there's a very real danger for Villa at the moment with Arsenal and Man City next. By the end of the weekend, we could be sat in the bottom three. We could potentially be sat bottom of the league. And even at this stage of the season, it's just not the place you want to be because it breeds negativity sitting in the bottom three and being at the bottom. And I did think, like you, over the last few years, I thought we were maybe getting away from those days in the Premier League, but now it feels like we're right back there.
The thing that makes it tougher is when you see teams like Southampton doing Chelsea, giving a good fight. Everyone thought that they'd be in the mix, but they've given Chelsea an absolute hard time this evening and ultimately got 3 points. And we're not. We haven't come up against a team as of yet where it's one of those where we're expecting a thrashing. All the teams we've played so far is something we could have got something from. I am a little bit worried about tomorrow. I am a little bit worried, especially if, a strong Arsenal side come out full of confidence. Gabriel Jesus keen to show the world what he can do, after being on and off the bench at Man City for a fair few years. They're going to want those Champions League spots, mate, and ultimately they're in the same position as us, where those points matter when you're in climbing up the table. They're the points that make the difference for them Champions League spots for Arsenal. So
they got momentum as well, haven't they? They got momentum, and they've won every game. Where they are at the moment is a bonus to them because they wouldn't have expected to be top. Sorry, too much fizzy drinks. They wouldn't have expected to be top after 5 games. Sorry, after 4 games, but they've now got a very real chance of being 5 for 5. And other teams have stuttered at times. Man City dropped points against Newcastle. Liverpool dropped points at the start of the season. Tottenham are going well. To be fair, Chelsea, they've lost again. They've lost 2 games that you wouldn't have expected them to lose. So Arsenal at the moment be thinking there's a real good chance for us here to cement ourselves not only at the top of the league, but in the top 4 and give ourselves a bit of wiggle room. And that's exactly what they'll want. And they're probably, being realistic, for them, it's a great time to play Villa.
Yeah, they couldn't. There couldn't be a better time to play against us, where the teams, the confidence is low. The fans' confidence are low. The boos around Villa Park. I ain't had a boo like that in a while, mate.
It was loud in the holes.
It was
very loud.
very, 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 very loud. I'm below you, mate. I was in the middle of it, and it was echoed around. It was a tough time, and it's one of those things. I understand we've lost the game, but some of the players going straight to the tunnel, and even Declan Rice comes over to applaud the Villa fans.
Class act, Declan Rice. He's an
absolutely,
class act.
He's coming all the way from London. Probably got a bit of a hard time, and even he comes over to clap the fans, as a signal of respect. And our own players haven't even, that creates a bit of a disconnect for me between the fans and the players. Of the only real opportunity they get to interact, maybe a social media interaction here or there if someone says something on a social media platform, but ultimately at the end of the game, you should be clapping your fans for coming to the stadium and supporting them.
A few of them came over. I can't remember specifically.
No, there wasn't.
Luca Dean was one that came over. To be honest, he's the only one I can remember who actually came over. I think possibly Conser as well. Chambers definitely came over. So a few of them did come over, but that's the bare minimum. Fans coming over and thanking the fans. Whatever's happened, the players should be a given that all the players come and clap the fans. I know they probably thought they're going to get pelted, so in some respects I can understand why they've ran straight in some of them, but you've just got to front up and do it. It's not been a good start to the season. The fans are frustrated. Steven Gerrard said himself he understands the fans' frustrations. Good news for Villa potentially is that if Tyrone Mings has done a full day's training, he'll be back. I didn't actually think Chambers and Conser were the problem against West Ham. I was a bit concerned going into that game without Mings. I mean, Arsenal are hardly the most physical side. If Mings is fit, does he come straight back in?
It's a tough one, isn't it? I think so, yeah. I think he comes back in the left centre-back side. Yeah, I don't know who will go on the right side. It could be either or. It doesn't really raise any eyebrows to me of which one they choose. I just all I hope, mate, is we just go out there and fight. We really need to start giving 90 minutes of work and at least looking like we're trying. I'm lost for words, mate.
I mean, I've got to be honest. I've done so much Villa this week. I don't know what to say either. I feel like I'm pumping out the same stuff and every little thing I go to. But we just want something. We just want a little bit of hope tomorrow. Something to cling on to. This is the thing. I think Villa fans. I said this yesterday on the Irish stuff that I was doing. I don't think Villa fans are unreasonable, and I don't think we expect the world like some people perceive perhaps about the fan base. don't think we expect to be top 6. We expect to be pushing somewhere in the top half, and maybe a cup run or two if we're lucky, because it's been so long since we've won a trophy. You know, that's all we really want, and we just want a bit of pride in the shirt and just a plan. Yeah, that's the problem. There doesn't feel like there's a plan for games. I hope there is one for tomorrow, because if there's not a plan for tomorrow, then we'll be in serious problems going to the Emirates. But I presume, but this is one of the other problems. If me and you were to try and guess what the team is tomorrow, I don't know. If I don't know what's going through Steven Gerrard's mind, because it's pretty much a different three up top combination every week, whether it's one playing behind two or one playing up front and two off them. It's different every week. I couldn't predict what team will go with tomorrow. Does he still think two up front's the right thing to do? It's against a tougher team, so I assume it'll be one up front, which will be Watkins, and then does Buendia come in for this one, because he obviously provides a little bit of work rate and a bit more guile and craft than the other players that play in that position, because it's away from home and we might get a chance on the break. Does Bailey come back in? But it's just different every game. Being honest, that's probably the three I'd play up top: Bailey, Buendia, and Watkins. I said Bracey then. I wouldn't be playing Bracey up front. That's for sure. Despite some
I'm better
skills.
at football than you before you start trying to disrespect me. So stay in your lane.
That's absolutely fine. I'm better at talking about football than you. But we won't get into that. But yeah, that'd be the front three that I would go for. But Watkins probably with Buendia and Bailey. Ty, what about you?
All depends on the shape, doesn't it? Whether we go with
I don't think he'll play two up front against Arsenal. I could be completely wrong.
The two in the one or the one in the two?
Two in the one.
Is that what you reckon? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I assume that's what they'll do.
If it's not, I'm going to clip that and crucify you. By the way.
I mean, you couldn't pick it. You could.
it is one. If everyone had guessed
the Villa team before every game, I don't reckon many people would have got it right each week.
No, you bang on.
You don't know, do you?
No, we just don't know, and it's. He's hinted that Coutinho is fit. He's fine. He's ready for selection, which probably means he's going to start. But we know that he doesn't start Coutinho and Buendia together.
Maybe it will be that. We haven't seen that since the last game of last season away at Man City. And it worked relatively well that day, actually.
Until we made bad substitutions. But
yep.
Again, the 11 could be. You just don't know, do you? But we didn't create enough on the weekend, mate. That was ultimately probably the worst that West Ham are going to play.
Oh, they were a shadow of the side
out of confidence. Absolutely, out of confidence. Not playing the greatest. And if there was a time where we was going to get points from him, it was that game, and we've come away with nothing. So we're just going to do more in that final third. Got to do more. Got to be more clinical. Got to create them chances. Got to take them chances and score them. And it's very easy to give Watkins and Ings a hard times, but when you sat at Villa Park and you're watching, are they really being fed that much?
They don't miss too many chances because they don't get any. Did you hear that stat yesterday? I don't know if you watched the show yesterday. I watched the
No, I don't watch Dan Bardell, unfortunately.
No, you've done well to avoid me on social media, Ty. You've done well if you've not seen any clips.
I've got you muted.
Over the last week. What was I going to say? You may forget what I was going to say now. Oh, other than Liverpool and Manchester City, Villa have had more final third entries than any other team in the Premier League. That astounded me. Doesn't feel it, does it?
I've got no words.
No,
it doesn't feel like that at all.
No, and that's where what you're saying is true. You can have the ball in the final third all you like, but you've got to know what to do with it. And at the moment, it doesn't particularly feel like we do. We didn't. Was there a clear-cut chance except for the goal that we had disallowed against West Ham? Did we create anything? Did Fabianski make us? I'm not saying Martina did make saves, by the way.
I mean, Zuma was great in the air. Zuma was great in the air. I don't really want to.
I fully expect
talk
Gabriel
about Zuma, but
yeah. No.
But in the air, he was great, and Luca Dean was putting in balls, but they just weren't going anywhere. They literally just wasn't. Because that's
every strange tactic to be crossing the ball into the box when there's only ever Ollie Watkins in there.
I was surprised how much we did from the left as opposed to the right flank. I felt like we did a lot more on the left hand side. That seemed to be a common trend when we went wide. There was a couple of times where we went to the right, but is that going to work against Arsenal?
Well, to be honest, we've seen the Bournemouth centre-backs clearing every single cross that came into the box. We've seen Zuma clearing every cross that comes in the box. If we resort to that tactic again tomorrow night, Saliba and Gabriel are going to do exactly the same, aren't they? Because whoever's up top, Watkins on his own or Watkins and Ings, aerially they're not going to win the ball, but just getting the ball out wide and crossing it into the box seems to be one of our primary tactics at the moment.
I mean, obviously Gerrard isn't Villa fans. there's a lot of negativity towards him, and it's warranted. But I'm not going to go into every game thinking and hoping that we lose. You know,
No,
I
well,
do
I mean,
want us to.
I go into
No,
games
no,
thinking we might lose, but I never hope.
yeah, of course, yeah, but I just want him to, if he is to stay, I just want these things that are being said in the press conferences to just be echoed on the pitch. That's, it's all good saying them
Yeah,
words,
I
but
think
if
that's
there's no
I think that's a
actions,
fair
there's no
criticism.
actions, and
Yeah, that's fair.
that's all I want to see is what he said in those press conferences just echoed on the pitch. And if they're not, that's where you start losing touch with the fan base, because the words mean nothing when it's not happening on the pitch. So let's just hope we can at least go and try and get something from them. I'll be happy with a point.
Oh, snap your hand off for a point, Todd. Absolutely snap your hand off for a point, Eyebrow. So don't worry about that. Give me a score prediction. Be as
2-0
honest as you
Arsenal.
feel. What
2-0
did you say?
Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal. 3-1 Arsenal. It's horrible, and it's horrible. But to be honest, we could be playing the dog and duck at the moment. I'd probably predict 3-1 to the dog and duck. The way it's going, I'd love to say that we'll go to Arsenal and get something, but I just can't feel it at all, and I'm sorry for that. Me and you actually two of the more positive Villa fans that are about, I would say, and at the moment we're struggling.
I'm me and Bale, mate. I've got nothing left.
It's difficult, isn't it? There's until you see something tangible on the pitch where you think that we've got it right. It's hard, and I hope that we see something tomorrow. I want to be coming and doing a post match point, sponsored by Purity, and just having something that we can talk about that's positive, because we need something. Sunday wasn't good enough. Sunday, like you say, West Ham were poor and Villa didn't lay a glove on them, and that isn't good enough. So we'll see what happens against Arsenal tomorrow night. Just a quick word about our sponsors, BetMate. Again, I will get my team back up on the screen, and for those of you that want to join the league, please come along and join us and see if you can beat the Villa View members or the Villa View team that are taking part in the league. If I can ever get my phone to work, I will show you my team. Here we go. There's my dog again. There's Tabor, lovely Tabor. And there's my BetMate team. Ramsdale, Diaz, Collins, Erdegaard, Kevin De Bruyne as captain, double points for him if he does well. Erling Haaland and Gabriel Jesus up front, with Ollie Watkins on the bench as the sole Villa representative. So yeah, join the Wednesday treble pot. Try and take me on. See if you can beat me. Like I said, I think I did okay last week. But yeah, you'll probably beat me if you have a go at that game. A little bit of money to be won, but gamble responsibly. It is just a little bit of fun. Thanks to Ty for joining me. Always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. There'll be a post-match point possibly tomorrow. Actually, we haven't organised when we're doing it, but there'll be one coming up in the next 24 to 48 hours after the Arsenal game, where all we want is just one thing positive to talk about. That would be very nice. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel with your post notifications on, even though we never actually come on and do it when we say we're going to do it, but you'll know when our video is going live if you have that turned on. Thanks ever so much. Up the Villa.